Kia ora everybody, Chris Farhi here, Bayleys Insights and Data Team. So I'm sitting here with Joe Telford from Bayleys Ponsonby. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks mate. Good. Thanks for coming along to Galatea today to do your filming.
Yeah, and so while we're in the area, we figured we'd have a bit of a chat to Joe about how things are going in the local markets around Ponsonby and the, I guess, Central West.
Central West, so sort of greater Ponsonby area is sort of the area that I focus on and for a Ponsonby office. So.
Yeah, awesome. And so first up, this property, right, like this is very, very special, and we were super excited to come here and do a bit of filming. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. The vendors purchased the property off market about 3 years ago and embarked on a fairly extensive, what you call renovation, but effectively rebuild, right the way through to about 3 months before completion. They sort of let the builder and everybody know they didn't tell anybody that they were selling. So they finished it to a really high standard, and obviously all the neighbours had neighbours evening here on Monday night, and we had 70 of the neighbours come through to have a look. So everybody's been intrigued to kind of see what the finished product has looked like. Went on the market on Tuesday, and so they're just the start of the process now.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool property, and the interesting fact here, right, is we're filming in we've got obviously like a kitchen, living room behind us. This is like the minor kitchen, living room, almost like a secondary space. And there's upstairs an entire massive kitchen, living room, multiple living rooms.
Yeah, fantastic retreat space for people with teenage kids and things like that, or guests. I mean, this is almost like a second house on its own down here.
This is like bigger than most people. Like if you had an apartment, this area is way bigger than a typical like high spec apartment. So. And that's just this part of the property. Yep. So, yeah, pretty amazing. And so, Joe, turning sort of focus to the local market, how are things going around sort of Ponsonby in there at the moment?
Look, I mean, there's been a little bit of a lull leading up to the weekend, obviously with the election coming up, in terms of buyers making decisions. But we've definitely seen a lot more activity in terms of good quality stock coming onto the market. Particularly with our Ponsonby team at Bayleys, we've had some really nice listings across the board. Herne Bay, Ponsonby, Freeman's Bay come on the market. Having to obviously work a lot more closely with our buyers right the way through the process from start to finish. But overall activity's been very, very good.
Yeah, so it seems to have improved quite a bit relative to last year, right? Because we went through that big slowdown. I mean, the thing that's noticeable at the moment is if you went back, particularly like 2020, 2021, almost, I'd say every property is probably an overstatement, but pretty much everything that was going to market at that point was just straight under the hammer, sold at auction. Yeah. And it was an interesting time, obviously, for buyers because if you weren't in the room to bid, you basically aren't buying at that point, right? And but then conditions at the moment, so needing to be a bit more patient on some properties. And
look, we're definitely finding properties like this, and the sort of properties have been recently renovated or done to a really high standard. That sort of turnkey property is certainly certainly the ones that are attracting the most attention. I think people knowing what they need to, what they're going to pay for it, and they don't need to spend any more money has played a big part. Obviously, buying a property that needs renovating and needing to borrow more money and all those sorts of things has kind of sort of taken the gloss off some of those sort of properties that have potential, development opportunities to them. And people have certainly really honed more in on finding a property that's sort of finished and turnkey, and they know what it's cost them to buy it, and they know what the servicing is going to be and all of those sorts of things. So, so definitely finding that there's a lot more interest and inquiry and buyer demand for sort of finished product.
Yeah, interesting. I guess it makes a lot of sense as well, because if you're in the market and you want to move pretty quickly, if you've got a house like this that's done to an extremely high specification, you've also cut out all that time, so you can just basically jump in and move in. Yeah,
just no uncertainty around timing, finding a builder, finding an architect, consents, all of that. I mean, this has obviously been a 3-year project, and not a lot of people wanting to bite those off at the moment. So
I think as well, when you're at this real high end of the market, being able to see the finishes as they're completed, rather than sort of dealing with all the specifications and that, is quite attractive as well. So that's really interesting. And just finally to close up, what's your favourite feature in this property?
Oh, look, upstairs, the massive sort of kitchen dining space that looks straight out over over the harbour is fantastic. They extended the upper deck out by about another 2 metres to really make it a big functional space. So look, it's just it's stunning in the evening, and it's a beautiful home.
Yeah, kitchen's beautiful. Well, yeah, cheers, Joe. Real nice having a chat, and thanks for hosting us today. Amazing.
My pleasure.
Yeah,
All
sweet.
right, thank
Cheers,
you.
Sal.